Tommy Broughan. 5 minutes.
I'd like to warmly support the motion before the House and to thank my Fine Gael colleagues, my Sinn Fein colleagues. Sorry, I'm very opposed to my Fine Gael colleagues, unfortunately. But to thank my Sinn Féin colleagues for giving me a chance to speak briefly on it. At the outset, I'd like to pay my respects to Alan Murphy and to his family and friends. Last Friday, of course, Alan died, as deputies have said, not very far from where we sit tonight. And it's another tragic loss of life which can be put down completely to the total failure by this government and by the Fianna Fáil governments, by their total abandonment of social housing programmes. As deputies have said, of course, throughout the country we have over 90,000 individuals on social housing waiting lists. In Dublin City Council alone, in the July 2015 figure is of over 42,000 people, of whom 21,600 applicants are individual or family applicants with 16,500 children. Of course, my own constituency of Dublin Bay North, we have an astonishing 5,733 individuals and families urgently seeking houses in areas like Coolock-Artane, Killester-Raheny, Darndale, Bowman, Marino, Clontarf and Kilbarrack. Last week across this chamber, I pleaded with my constituency colleague Minister Bruton to start some sort of an emergency housing programme. But once again, it seems that that plea fell on deaf ears. The other county council that I represent, Fine Gael, of course, has 8,500 applicants urgently seeking housing in their catchment area. And the Minister has trumpeted the fact that he gave almost, I think, €20 million to Fine Gael Council in the first phase of a programme to build 1,376 housing units, Minister. But this is just a tiny drop in the ocean, really, compared to the many, many families whom I represent who are waiting 8, 9, 10, indeed 11 years for housing. There are, of course, over 150 individuals sleeping rough this very night, Minister, while you're sitting there talking to your Deputy Minister. And the number of course, in August of this year, the number of persons in emergency accommodation continue to rise higher. And we've now 3,732 adults representing 1,496 children. I met the Ombudsman for Children, in fact, a few months ago in the late summer to raise the concerns that I feel week in, week out when I meet homeless children, Minister, children for whom you are completely responsible and for whose rehousing you are totally responsible. Now, Minister, you spoke a few weeks ago about this crisis being a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm. So how did it happen? It's almost like an act of God. Somehow, in this year, 2015, all of these factors came together to create this incredible situation that Deputy Ellis and my colleagues here have so eloquently outlined. But a key element in this perfect storm, Minister Kelly, is you yourself. You came over here 15 months ago, you outlined to me steps that you would take to try and address this situation. You've implemented almost not a single one of those steps. Now, colleagues mentioned in relation to modular housing. I went over to look at the exhibition of modular housing, as I think Deputy Ellis did. We went over to have a look at it and looked at that situation. Some people would say it can provide a very tiny response to the crisis that we are facing. For myself, however, I don't think so. I actually feel that that is not the way forward. Why would we spend 80 to 90,000 euros building a modular house of materials that are not fit for our climate in this coming very cold and damp winter, when we could actually build a house, Minister? You could go out and build a house and start direct action. I mean, you could have a housing emergency. Why will you not have a housing emergency? Why won't you come in here and have a FEMPI on housing? Because Fine Gael will not permit you to do so. You're a prisoner. And for the next 2 or 3 months, you continue to be that prisoner. The only solution for this situation, Cathaoirleach, is a general election. Let's have a general election of which this will be a key issue. And let's change this rotten government. Let's get rid of them. Let's have a new government from this side of this House that will declare a housing emergency, that will immediately bring in rent controls and that will deal with the other issues. It can be done, Minister. No use waving your hands.
Thank you, Deputy.
It's not a perfect storm. You are the key actor and you haven't done your stuff.
Thank you, Deputy. I'm now calling Minister.